Alright, welcome back. In the last video, we looked at what this is here, a congruence statement that tells us triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF. So I know triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF. So all of their parts are matching, okay? But not only does this statement here just tell me that the two triangles are congruent, it also tells me what matches with what, okay? So when I'm looking at this picture, I can look at the first letter there, A, and I know it matches with D. So I know this angle A is 65 degrees, which means this angle D is also 65 degrees, okay? Because angle A matches with angle D. Then I can do the same thing with my middle letters. I can say, all right, well that means that angle B is going to match with angle E. So angle B is 75 degrees. So I know that means angle E is 75 degrees. Okay. And then angle C and angle F match. So angle C is 40 degrees. That means angle F is also 40 degrees. Okay, but I can also look at my sides. So if I look at the first two letters, segment AB is going to match with the first two letters, segment DE. So if AB is 64.3, this side is also 64.3. Okay. So then, if I look at the next two letters, if I look at the last two letters in each one, BC is going to match with my last two letters over here, EF. So if BC is 90.6, that means this one is also 90.6. Okay. And then last but not least, that means my remaining sides have to be congruent. My outside letters AC will match with my outside letters DF. Okay, so now this is trying to find what is the value of X and the value of Y. So if I look at for an X, I see my X right here, 2X plus Y equals 90.6. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to write that equation, 2X plus Y equals 90.6. Now here's my problem. When I try to solve this for X, I'm still going to have a Y in my expression. So since I have two variables, I can't solve this one yet. So let me see where else I see a variable. I also have one right here, 2y minus 5, and we know this angle equals 65 degrees. So 2y minus 5 equals 65 degrees. Well, that I can solve, right? That one, I can say, well, let me add 5 to both sides. My addition property of equality, and I get 2y equals 70. Division property of equality, 1y equals 35. So sometimes when you're asked to find x and y, you have to find y first, right? And then you can find your value for x, because I am going to now substitute y in where it equals. So I'm going to put this 35 here. So 2x plus 35 equals 90.6. Okay? All right, so now to solve, the first thing I'm going to do is my subtraction property of equality. I'm going to subtract 35 on both sides. And when I do 90.6 minus 35, I'm going to end up with, well, I've got 2x plus 0 equals 55.6. Then my division property of equality, divide by 2, and x equals, divide by 2, 27.8. Okay, so my value for x is 27.8. And in order to find that, I had to find y first, which was 35. Okay? And without my statement here, I wouldn't have been able to do that, right? So I needed my congruent statement so I know what matched with what. Okay? All right, let's look at this number 2 example. It says, I have angle A is congruent to angle C, angle D is congruent to angle B, segment AD is congruent to segment CB, segment AE is congruent to segment CE. Is triangle AED congruent to triangle CEB? Well, the first thing I want to do in this problem then is I want to mark all of my congruent parts. Okay? So I know that it tells me angle A is congruent to angle C. So angle A is congruent to angle C. Then I'm going to check that off so I know I've dealt with it. Then I have angle D is congruent to angle B. Angle D is congruent to angle B. Check mark. I used it. So like if this is a proof, right, and these were givens, I'd want to mark them in my picture and then I would write them down and sometimes check them off. Okay. Segment AD, that's this one here, is congruent to segment CB. That's this one here. Check. Segment AE is congruent to segment CE. Segment AE is congruent to CE. Check. And then I have one more statement. It says segment AC bisects segment BD. So the one being bisected is being cut in half, right? Bisect means to divide in half equally. Divide equally in half is what bisect means. So, right, we say like the scissors cuts the paper. The paper is what's getting cut. So segment BD is being cut into 2 equal halves. BD, this one here, is being cut into 2 equal halves. This half and this half. Okay? All right, so when I look, do I have enough information in my picture to say I have congruent triangles? When I look at this, I can see that all 3 of my sides are marked. I've got a single, I've got a double, I've got a triple. And then when I look at my angles, I've got my single set and my double set. But I don't have that this angle matches with this one. However, if this was a proof, I would say angle AED and angle BEC are vertical. And so then using the vertical angle theorem, I know that vertical angles are always congruent. So even though it's not here in my givens, because these are vertical, I can add that they are congruent because vertical angles are always congruent. So we do have enough information to say that triangles are congruent, but wait, we have to make sure the letters are in the right place. Does A really match up with C? A, C, yes. Does E match up with E? Yes. Does D match up with B? Yes. So my answer here is yes. Okay? All right. In the next video, we're going to look at how we can apply some algebra to these situations. All right? Thank you so much for watching.